InShalla and Ashe. Welcome to the Daily Snippet. It is I, once again, Tonya D, Holistic Sha'medium and Subtle Energetic Surgeon, bringing to you the majestic magic of the elemental realms, the cosmic highway, and a few cards to get us on our way, along with an affirmation to help us sometimes with the monkey mind. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and ring the bell, or all of three, because it really assists with the echo of the galactic universe, also known as the algorithm. But today's energy is actually one of my very favorites. Actually, they all are pretty fun when you start to play in the field. But we have a day to open to the core of the galactic universe and fill those threadways as we climb this ladder, this conscious ladder, to the lunar full moon that's going to be lasting over 3 hours. There's a lot of juice in there. But just remember, with every death, there is always a rebirthing, whether it's a death of a career, loss of a job, selling of a home, getting a new car, whatever it is. There's always two sides to the same coin. So are you ready for a octave of rebirthing, a higher elevated octave recalibration? What's no longer fitting in the closet or the wardrobe, or what now belongs in the closet? Maybe upcycling the wardrobe. So just going through the cosmic cobwebs to energetically sweep the debris. What's happening on the inside is where actually the juice starts. It gets juicy, and you generally won't see it on the outside, at least for a little bit. But the wave is actually in motion. But today we have this elemental resting day. You can look at all that earth once again, yang earth as well. It's a yang earth dragon. So it's an earth dragon versus a nature dragon or a fire dragon, metal, water, etc. But all kinds of dragons. But this is a mountain dragon, lives in the caves or the cliffs, like high above. Not so much in the clouds on this inward journey, because we have a balance between the yin earth and also the yang earth. We don't have any fire, but with all that earth, it really isn't necessary unless you feel like warming things up. Nature herself is hidden in the branches, and so is water. And with water hidden, I would go with metal, or actually nature today. Metal is great for creating the sphere of protection, a shield, if you will, or myself, a sword, an otherworldly sword, or anything that really comes to your mind that's actually made of metal. Could be silvers, golds, titanium, platinum, all the stuff. Stones and the bones and the crystals as well. So really take in the juice today. The soul's prime directive is to take a bath, a relaxing one, and just open up, take in the chi, the life force of water, to assist in recalibrating and getting in the flow. So it's kind of the rest that actually restores and rejuvenates or recalibrates the ideas, the wishes that are really super delicious. So you might feel a bit sleepy, kind of like the seven dwarfs in Snow White, a little sleepy. Not a lot of energy to kind of push forward through those thread lines. So vital energy is just part of nature. It's always moving, shifting, recalibrating, changing. So it's really not a day to do any like deep cleaning. You don't really want to overdo. It's really a time to really just recalibrate your energetic system and the galactic system and even the elemental realms. So it's time to find the path of like least resistance and identify the boundaries that are in alignment with your heart's juicy wishes. And like, what can you come up with today? Or what are some options that you have on your plate? And of course, you know, choose the juicy ones, the ones that open your heart to really take in the juice, to be the heart beacon that shines brighter. You know, that's what we want to do in order to feel juicy on the inside and also bring that to the outside. So it's a day to really break free of the mundane, the mud and the waters, and just allow your heart to really make the choice, be heart-centric. So if you have any sensations of resistance within the threads, then that's actually a no-go. So if you're in the flow and the door is open, then that's definitely a yes. So it really is a day to be juicy, be creative, have some fun, and even add some flavor to those creations. So it's time to be in a space of like childlike wonder and really tune into your feelings. Bring out the joy juice, the cosmic bubbles of juice. So you might be feeling extra juicy with all the creative energy out there, kind of just bubbling up from the galactic surface and then threading down into the earth. So it's time to make the juicy choices that really make that childlike wonder kind of soar out into the galaxy. Whatever you do today, just make sure that you're in a creative process and light up kind of the brilliance inside of you, the brilliant kind of light that really makes your heart literally just be a beacon and light up, opening up your creative genius, the chamber of creativity, paint if you're a painter, and more importantly, play, have some fun. So there's a bunch of unlimited possibilities in the creative corridor. So really allow the juice just to be juicy. Okay, well, I guess you got the memo about all the juice. Let's get on with the stone of the day. It's called a charoite, Charoit. Found that one. Here we go. It's the best picture I could get. Oh, and it says Dreamtime in the center. Love that. But it's a stone of transformation and unconditional love. It's actually named after the Chara River that runs through the Sakha Republic of Siberia. So it shimmers with this rare splendor. It's a gem that can only be found in one place in the entire world, and it was only recently discovered in the 1940s. So pieces of this precious purple gem are like few and far between. And as it was discovered as a unique geological formation known as a mastiff, the odds are that these big deposits of this stone might not actually be seen again. And while it was found by the Chara River, the name may also be a nod to the Russian word for magic charm, which is exactly what you get when you hold tight to this piece of stone, if you can find one, obviously, right? So it ranges from lilac wine to soft pink and darker hues of purple. It also boasts shades of quartz and manganese, which weave in black and white into the color scheme. But it comes from this fibrous crystal masses, which also help bring about the swirling color scheme, and it gives it that textured appearance. So it's really a deep stone of transformation and love. It's a soul stone with big, bold energy. It's full of emotional healing, spiritual strength, and it helps to regulate us in the best of ways. For those who want a gem with this high vibration and divine touch, this could be the stone for you. Healers, sages, and those who work in the psychic realms, either with past lives or angelic beings, adore this stone because it helps to create a space for the integration of that energy. So it's here to actually bring the light. It's splashed with that purple potency. So this stone is all about positive transformation for a clean slate thinking and welcoming great chance or change into your life. So it's important to just let go of that negative energy and practice being present, being in the here and being in the now. So it helps us to cut through the noise, to embrace deep insight, and to live in accordance, like an accordion, with our higher sense of authenticity as well. So it's like a balancer of body, mind, spirit, and I think soul as well. So you could utilize this stone to bring the violet ray of light into your light. So it really kicks off those healing powers with the body as it uses those higher frequencies to shift sickness and pain into health and prosperity as like a natural stress buster. So it's just excellent at helping us keep our blood pressure in check. It can also assist with improving the health of our pancreas or our liver. It has this serene energy that can be hugely beneficial to those who struggle with Asperger's or ADHD. So it's kind of like this purple talisman, and it works really well when it comes to detoxing the body too. And it can be useful. It's a useful tool for trying to cut back on any toxins. It can also be a savvy kind of painkiller, helping to ease everything from muscle aches to even migraines. But when it comes to your emotional well-being, this stone doesn't skip a beat. It calls on courage and gives us self-confidence, gives that self-confidence a boost, actually, reminding us that we can achieve all that we want in life in the Earth School. So for those who are dealing with any kind of loss in your life, it's really a great pick-me-up. It'll dust you off and invite you to find your internal power to put a different spin on things. It's a great stone for decision making because it brings clarity. It assists us to make choices based on love rather than being bogged down in fear. It also invites us to let go. And when we do this, we're kind of less likely to find ourselves locked in frustration, but rather finding that sweet spot, those sweet surprises that can be stashed in any situation, really. But it's a spiritual energy stone, so it's got this potent energy to cleanse our higher energetic centers, removing blockages from our heart, our third eye, even our crown, and out and abound, I would say, because the outer body energetic centers kind of need their own recalibrating and cleansing too. But it also, by cleansing the aura and opening up our upper centers, it really puts us in a perfect place to receive that uplifting positive energies, even beyond the open-hearted love center, the wisdom of the third eye, and really the universal connection from the crown. So it really just helps us to adjust to these higher frequencies, which then can expand our consciousness and even awaken a desire in us to be at service to the world at large. It also connects us to individuals, dualities, and also Mother Earth, Gaia herself, the queen bee. So there. Hi, Tazzy. Good morning to you, too. Thanks for always showing up and commenting. I appreciate that. But the cards of the day, of course, I had to go back to my Shadowscape deck. And I should say cards of the day, not card, because now I do 3. I really crack myself up. And also, if you like, share, or comment on the show, I'm going to pull a card for you during a show as well. So keep that in mind. But today, feeling ethereal, that's why I went with the Shadowscape. But it's the 6 of Pentacles. So you can see him. He's perched on the top of this mountain. He's on the back of a dragon, which I just talked about a dragon for the day. So there's this confident and determined little spirit radiating from this guy. He's got a lot of juicy energy. And he knows that he has really touched the longing of his heart. It's got this powerful beat from the height. You know, he's up there in the clouds, I guess. So he's abandoned the rich ground below, but he's responding to the screams and the echoes of the rocks at the moment. And he also has raindrops filled with life energy to fall kind of with each melody that's rising from, I don't know if you can see, he's got a flute he's blowing. But even the branches, they're thorny, but they're fluttering and they're receiving just this gift, this blessing, right? So we have this connection and an interdependence between what has and what doesn't have. You know, it's kind of the balance between those two coins. But it also represents the rain of life and the abundance from above. So this musician, he didn't see or even notice what's coming down from the ethers. He might have thought that this was just part of the balance, thanks to the generosities between the heavens and the earth. But at the same time, you know, you have the trees and you have the branches. They're strengthening, they're solidifying to create a thick wall for him to rest upon. So the roots, I'm all about trees. I'm having a situation about trees, so I'm really passionate right now about the roots. But the roots are penetrating deep into the earth herself, the fissures, and they're kind of coalesced and merging. They're binding into a structure within each other, kind of forming a web, a webbery of life. So there's a layer of protection from erosion to collapse. And there's also this rebirthing where they support each other and they're connected with each other. It's kind of a cycle of rising from within or from a tree itself, or self-destruction. You know, it's two sides of that same coin. But in this case, you know, who is the true savior from whom or who really holds the power? Some key words that kind of go with this card. It's like resource, it's power, philanthropy, repayment, gratitude, dedication, financial support, a gift, a bonus, stuff like that. Even advice and sharing. But the 6 of Pentacles is a card really of generosity, which really means that you'll be able to be the one to give away something, and you should share what you have because there will always be people who need the sharing and the caring, right? So the generosity doesn't necessarily relate to financial stuff. You know, it could be a good listener, a shoulder to cry on, mental support, you know, all of those things. Those are just things money really can't buy. But it also might indicate a time when life becomes better, especially in terms of finance. So it's actually one of the most positive cards in the Pentacles, but it represents fairness, equality, the cycles of life. And since it appeared here, you know, life will tend to enter a positive phase of the cycle. Plus, also, it's a 6. So that's Venus. That's also the energy of today. And Venus, you know, Venus opposing Scorpio, but that's the number of the degree of the sun. Super curious stuff is happening here. But typically, this card represents giving or receiving financial assistance. In other situation, it could also signify love or emotion, which, you know, we are in these emotional threads. But it's also implying that you have the will to help if you're financially able, or if you're in a financial crisis at this time. It's going to kind of come in like a door is going to open. And that abundance, it could come from a bank, it could come from a loved one, a family member, or also if you are financially stable, then you're the opposing force, you're the supporter. So it's also a message that you should be active in a situation, every situation, in order to not lose your chance to like open that door, that gateway to basically be benevolent. You know, it's two sides of the same coin. And then I pulled the Hierophant, and this is I love all these cards. I'm not going to lie. She's holding a staff there, but they tell a story. So the Hierophant, there's a little salamander, and he wants to listen to a story. And the salamander is telling this to the Hierophant, who is actually a kind of like a priest. So the story is, you know, what do you want to hear, my boy, the salamander? So he's asking if he has this deep connection to his buddy, the caterpillar. Yes. So I don't know if you can see the salamander in the picture, but he's sitting there. He's super cute. But as he's speaking, he's coming from a deep essence within himself, and he's kind of stopping on the threads of a younger root of the tree. So the salamanders experience this variety of times. So he's kind of patient to listening and tuning in. So he wants to know how to fly. And he used to be really happy about his life and his story. But one day when his caterpillar buddy was really sleepy, and he slept for a very long time, so long that it seemed that he forgot about him, until he appeared again as a moth butterfly and started talking. But his laugh was very similar to that of the caterpillar. And mind you, the salamander didn't know he transformed into a caterpillar, but with the voice. He'd said that, you know, that he had dreamt for a long time. He dreamt of wings. So the Hierophant, you know, she echoes in and she's like, oh, my dear, I apologize. The caterpillar always has this happiness, and he can sleep and dream about a flight. But then he's embroidered the rituals of threads, the thread line surrounding the body. And when the time came, that's when the dream, the essence of the dream, completely shifted him. So the salamander really wishes he could fly in the sky too, and he's really serious about this. And he's like, you absolutely have the right to dream about it. But he's confided in the Hierophant as a teacher and also as a friend. And she's saying, you know, I won't deny you the gift of God, but I know that you would be able to gain that sacred part in a different way from the way of a caterpillar. And we all the time do this, right? So she's saying, you know, do me a favor, don't give up on your dream, to the salamander. So the Hierophant, her roots are penetrating deep into the ground, just wrapping around the secrets, the tradition, the maturity. And so putting the faith in rituals, and also religions, which I'm not really that aspect, more spiritual, but in all the strictness of the belief system, the energetic belief system, the Hierophant's able to clarify the spirit and bring the light of wisdom to the world, into the physical. So we have this quiet and kind of in control aspect, but he's also a teacher. He can also assist in solving the mysteries of life. But I love this deck for a variety of reasons. And one of them is it tells a story along the way. So once again, this is kind of leading us through the culture of the east through the image of the ancient trees, the many layers of the deep roots in the soil. So this card's actually considered a high priest, a holder of the highest power of the ancient Greeks and their faith. So he's an experienced teacher who holds a lot of knowledge about faith and also, I should say, religions, lots of them. But he cherishes tradition, calmness, and he's always a solid, and he shows knowledge and wisdom within spirit for everybody. So this card has been attributed with human characteristics or behaviors to really like an otherworldly being or a god or something like that. In this case, it's a tree, which is magical, you know, the ancient tree of wisdom or the tree of knowledge, really. So it's all this all-knowing, it's respectable, it's this wise teacher named the Hierophant. So in the East, you know, ancient trees have special meanings. The baobab tree, there's like old olive trees. I remember when I was in Italy, I was in the sacred groves where the oaks were, and they spin when they start to ascend to heaven when they're going to die. So it's just these relationships to all the trees. But they're considered an image of longevity, endurance, toughness. You know, they support people. Old trees support the houses. They have just a different frequency and a different energy, especially depending on what kind of tree it is. Different wisdoms, right? But they used to surround temples and pagodas. They were protection. They create a barrier from storms and winds. That's why I'm having issues with my trees, having the situation they're going through. But old trees are also a symbol of human rights and also spirituality. And in the past, you know, temples literally were surrounded by trees. And you can also see faces in the trees, in the roots. Rumor even has it that if you pray sincerely to a tree, everything intended sincerely, heartfelt, will come true. And even in medieval poetry, old trees appear as a trusted soulmate, where the hermits kind of sought to retreat to soothe their hearts. So the image of an old tree has like successfully completed this transmission of an image of a Greek priesthood in the Eastern language, but I think it doesn't really matter. All trees carry this frequency and vibration. So key words, you know, that go with this card, which in my case is actually needed because they're cutting down my barrier of trees in the name of corporate greed, which is called growth, apparently, in the realm of man. My nervous system, which is related to trees, is rattled. All trees, we all have a nervous system. We're all calibrate to trees, but it's being rattled probably because I can feel the grief of the trees being chopped so disgustingly. However, the Great Spirit can do some magical twists there, so giving it the karmic landlord, if you will. But again, some keywords before I totally go down that rabbit hole. It's celebration, common rights, moral requirements, spiritual progress, prayer even, spiritual power, sacred law. See, there's a reason I pulled this card. Higher power, the treasures of the ancient knowledge and the teachings, the evolution of morality. Can be loneliness though, but it's the pure relationship, searching for spiritual, I would say your acumen anyway, and kind of having a structured environment, tree structure. So when you draw in the Hierophant, you may have met a person who's full of life experiences that are going to impact a lot and can change the whole life in a more solid way. So what you need to know now is to slow down and to listen to those instructions. In addition, you really want to pay attention to the image of an old tree rooted in sustainable rocks. So it kind of makes us think of those who are kind of stubborn, conservative, maybe self-righteous, you know, insisting on maintaining what they think reasonable or what they think is reasonable because they are confident they are experts and they have a deeper understanding of all the things and the everythings. So it's great to have a strong opinion and a firm stance, but if you insist on doing what you want and not listening to others, you'll be hardly be able to kind of improve and grow yourself. So just stand like an old tree, becoming aged and backward. So in some cases, it's also possible that you are too stubborn, leading to isolating yourself with your own thoughts. And the constellation that corresponds to the Hierophant is Taurus. So I thought that was amazing. I pulled this card because we're actually, you know, we're in Scorpio, but the earth herself is in Taurus, the opposing force. Taurus is the earth elements. It's what we value, what we manifest. Can be money, but there's also other things we can value, right? But this is also the aspect of this full partial moon eclipse. So it also makes us think, immediately of the image of those who are gentle. Maybe they prefer stability. They have a deeper sense of themselves. They're able to guide others very well. Maybe they're very spiritual and they're a spiritual support for everybody or everyone by listening, like just listening, where you don't quack your mouth and you listen with heartfelt and you're skillful in the listening, giving advice based on experiences. So they're always loved by the village, basically. However, the Hierophant, like Taurus is really a very stubborn energy, but it also plows through. It's very, I want to say hefty or heavy, but the Hierophant brings in values of spirituality, values of learning, and it suggests that you will meet a mentor or a teacher who kind of is going to assist you with the lessons of life. It kind of reminds me of like the wise Buddha, not that I've met one, but this guide could be quite serious, could be fastidious, maybe deep thinker, deep inside. They might carry lessons of emotions and morality. This person also might be an older relative in your family, an old teacher, even a stranger with a broad understanding. Besides, it also has a meaning of a different occurrence of events related within religion and belief. So in the near future, you could participate in a certain activity related to, say, a spiritual acumen or having faith, a higher faith. So these activities are quite useful in practicing our own morality and raising awareness of our own personal traditional values. And the last card I pulled, which you cannot make this shift up, I grabbed the Empress. I'm not sure I take the best pictures with my camera phone, just saying that. But the story here, it's like, "Dear my lady," the wandering spirits whispered, "we offer this gift to you." And at that time, they kind of blended in with the dance to create kind of a kaleidoscope image for the satisfaction of the Virgin Mother Mary, or Virgin Mary. So she just smiles and she's receiving the dance. And, it kind of reminds me of the way the fairies dance, when they're kneading the earth and they're singing, they're doing their joy bubble. But at the moment, in this card, her mind and her thoughts are these conductors. They're like the conduit for that melody, that melodious symphony, the music. So it's like the lost spirits gently, or, from the crown. I don't know if you can tell, but that's like a crown of butterflies in the air. It's beautiful. This card is so cool. But those are butterflies kind of swirling around in that circle there. They kind of look like a halo at the base. Mind you, I pulled this reverse, which I'm going to get to that. However, they're braided with this bud of spring on her forehead that actually creates the caterpillar, which was the other card, right? The salamander was all upset because it couldn't be a caterpillar. But the jasmine and the lily flowers of the valley kind of offer the first flowering buds to form what's called that virgin's crown. So the spirit announces, the apple offers the sweet fruits to the mother, and the wheat from the field brings in the grain. So all gifts are really put in this basket, this juiciness of this basket. But with the song, it suddenly rings in and the spirit swirls together and they kind of turn around and they explode in sound and light. So this is all higher octave energies anyway. But the Empress herself refers to creativity, generosity, patience, love of yourself first. So she's a person who's full of richness, creativity, and really the experience of natural feeling and also generosity. So she is Virgin Mary. She's fertility. She's also nurturing. So she keeps her basket containing the gifts of the earth realm, the fruits, the barley, the branches, the amazing flowers, those butterflies, all the juice, right? So she's like this primitive nature, an embodiment of life and a deep connection, obviously, with nature herself, the goddess. So she's located on this ivy tree. She's kind of tightly wrapped with a dress. She's got all the colors. They're just surrounding her entire world. Her village is magical. You can see that. So it's this image of this beautiful, gentle, this full of love and just rich, essence of woman, feelings, but she's reached out to give away all the best that she has for her dear selves, and also in a natural and also a great way. She's sharing her juice, right? But she's exuding the beauty of being confident. She's mature. She's responsible. She's feminine, right? And she always knows what her child needs, always tries to cherish, take care of them, take everything as good as possible. Then, when the children grow up and they're, hopefully adulting, she encourages them to kind of fly outside and go out into the world, even though it feels maybe painful to leave the beloveds, But her face, even though she's closed her eyes because of the pain of being separated from her children, she's going to still be satisfied when she sees all those colorful butterflies fluttering in the bright sunlight. They're actually really creating their own sun. But the future is expanding like right before their eyes. And so since women have children, their life revolves around nurturing them, caring for them. Mothers always watch their children. They follow them step by step, always by their side. Every time they stumble, they support them. They kind of have a different effect whenever they make a mistake. They're always willing to forgive whenever they apologize. And they're always so tender and just cuddly and earnest without even asking their children for anything. As long as they live well and happy, the mothers are happy. And that's so true. I do that with my son. My kid's happy, I'm happy. So it's like the outer joy and the inner joy. But the mother is also the one who keeps the family cozy and cheerful, and anyone will feel the smallest, safe, sheltered, and most comfortable when they're close to the mother, whatever that looks like. My mom's in the ethers now, so I totally have a different conversation. But it really doesn't matter whether you're young or later, growing up, becoming successful, an entrepreneur, whatever that is. That's just the mom. But the Empress herself, this is great too, corresponds to Venus, which talks about what for everyone, feels most satisfied in their life. The ruler of Venus is Libra. Again, we have a net day Libra. We've got this card, Venus Libra, and I pulled the Taurus. You cannot really make this shift up, but that just shows care. It's this gentle, understanding, caring way. The beauty of the Empress, it's gentle, delicate, romantic. Those are kind of Libra qualities well. Sweet beauty, boundless love, it's the essence of that. So in a way, in the heart of every child, the mother always occupies the most peaceful and sweetest position. So whenever we feel difficult in life or feel difficulties, just think of that feminine mothering aspect in the world or out of the world, doesn't really matter. And then we have more motivation to kind of overcome everything. So it's the bright rose garden at her feet. I don't know if you can tell that that's a rose garden. They kind of looked like, from this angle, they look like leaves, the fall, the fall leaves. But anyway, they're actually rose. It's a rose garden at her feet, but they're blooming endlessly. They offer beauty, aroma to the mother, the feminine. So the mother always kind of deserves this treatment and this respect and the bounty of the beauty of the essence and the smell of the rose, basically. So there's some key words, it's obviously the goddess, it's Mother Nature, it's prosperity, fertility, creativity, which we're in a creative resting day, sensitivity, healing, love, harmony. It's even marriage, social status, wealth, pregnancy, reproduction, birthing. It could be birthing of anything, really. Not, pregnancy is a birth of something. Doesn't mean literal pregnancy. Being like full of our potential and also being protected. It's even motherhood. So this card appears as an affirmation that our efforts are about to be rewarded. So we will have a harvest, future achievements. So this is actually a great aspect. But sometimes it's also represents the negative when it's reversed, which happens to be how I pulled it today. So there could be someone in your family who is kind of interfering with the plans you might have set. This person could be a mother or a sister. It's also the message that our financial situation is stabilizing gradually. Maybe a new business will come. So you don't really want to miss out on that. Maybe your plans are going to turn into a reality one after another. So don't hesitate to hide your strengths. You kind of got to come out of the closet with your beingness, you know. So the Empress brings hope to all of us. All, you know, if you're tired, impatient, you know, you're going to be compensated for the past time, that energy. So this is an opportunity to highly kind of concentrate and like seize the moment, seize the opportunity, because you're going to achieve success after all these hardships and struggles. So it's like new ideas are being formed or reformed. So even though it's reverse, it's still an element of female power. It's mystery, it's unpredictability, symbolizes the birth and also the attraction. So it could also indicate that you are like too focused on the masculine power and you kind of need to be more mindful of your femininity, the female side, you know, do those feminine things. For me, it would just be cooking. But everybody has both types of energy within their personalities and their beingness, you know. Maybe you are wrong about yourself, that you don't attract much, but it's always the two sides of the coin. So if your feelings are feeling that way, just give yourself some time to kind of do a check back or a checkup on yourself. And we always have something to bring to others and ultimately believe in ourselves. That's also another frequency, right? Self-love, self-belief. So the reversed Empress is kind of, it suggests that we should associate more with our inner happiness and reflect and meditate. With all three of these cards, they're symbolic of the energy of today. So like I said, you cannot make the shift up. So we have the Venus aspect, the Taurus full moon heading our way. We have the number 6. We have the moon, which is the goddess. So that was like a lot in a lot of ways. So we really do have some juice today. And I just love when the cards kind of match the cosmic highway and the elemental realm and just take in the energy of water. I would literally possibly go soak in the tub, add some Epsom salt or baking soda. It doesn't really matter, but salts generally. And your favorite essential oil, I was thinking of frankincense. That's one of my favorites, my juicies. But remember, you know, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Open the door to receive higher insight. Just kind of listen, tune in and listen, because that can really shift and transform the old sensations or feelings and elevate them into juicy ones where you receive a sensation of where you do belong. So the seed sounds of today, it's really the throat is online, the hum, the heart to feel yummy, yum, and the sacral to feel peace, which we need that. We're getting this recalibration of our peace frequency with the vom and also the ong of the crown. So maybe what I would do is start from the crown and feel them all the way down. You could open up the shaman's portal and go from there into the crown and then all the way down. In and out through each energetic center. So like from the shaman's portal to the crown, from the crown to the sacral, sacral to the heart, and then out the throat. Balancing, right? And then as far as the elemental energies, you know, water, you could like bring in the whoo. You can't really hear me. I never know if you can hear me sometimes, but it's the whoo of like blowing out a candle for the water. So you could kind of do that to recalibrate your water frequency. Look at me, I'm flicking my hand. Or the ha, it's the heat in the voice, the ha. Or nature, or, you know, you could also just go with your gut, feel into it. Your feelings will always guide you. So an affirmation to get you on your way, honestly, I would say something like, I affirm an attitude of gratitude and I am embracing the feeling of this new transformation. So be juicy, be excited, trust the universe, that the universe does see your light and is sending you guidance daily on the beacon, and just open up today to receive that juice. It's like feeling up your gas tank, except it's in the body. Not the, you know, not the metal car that you would cascade around on the earth plane in. That was a juicy one. So thanks as always for tuning in. Thank you, Tazzy. I'll pull a card for you again tomorrow. So tune in, my girl. InShalla and Ashe. Blessings.